I was a child.
The Daddy-Daughter Dance, next on Black Nouveau.
All the innocence.
Hi, I'm Faithe. Welcome to Black Nouveau. On this edition, we'll attend the 6th annual Daddy-Daughter Dance sponsored by Milwaukee Recreation and the Milwaukee Fatherhood Initiative. We'll discuss Black Marriage Day, talk with author Doris Cope, and find out about UW Whitewater's Black Student Union's 40th anniversary. But first, the Milwaukee Ko-Thi Dance Company is dedicated to preserving and performing traditional African American and Caribbean dance and drumming. The company tours throughout the year and produces programs that encompass our youth. Liddy Collins shows us their annual production of It Takes a Village.
The Milwaukee Lincoln Center of the Arts was the site of the Ko-Thi Dance Company production, It Takes a Village. This production celebrated children, their diversity, and culture. This is an annual production. Ko-Thi Dance Company took the African proverb, "It takes a village," and put it into action.
It means that when you see a child that's suffering, whether it's your blood child or not, that as an adult you take ownership for the safety of that child. And these kids that are in this show tonight are so talented, so disciplined, that I wanted to use the It Takes a Village as once a year in February to show the diversity and the talent of kids who are not in trouble.
Well, dancing is a big thing in it. It shows what we wear, our emotions, and the music.
My motivation of being in the mariachi would be just the opportunities that we have. You know, we could do, scholarships, or we could get grants or different stuff doing mariachi music.
Something that motivates me is, just being, in a stage and then seeing, the audience, new people, and then, trying to spread out culture to everyone.
When I was in my family, they saw me playing. It made them really happy just to see some child that's playing the violin and just enjoying our culture.
I have an idol of the name of Vicente Fernandez, a mariachi singer, and just when I see his videos, songs, I want to practice them, learn them, and try to go for it.
What motivates me to perform is the crowd, to entertain y'all, and you feel the adrenaline. You just want to make sure that everything is perfect. You want to make them smile, make them stand up and clap. It's amazing.
For those not familiar with Ko-Thi, what is it?
We're a dance company, but in the African tradition, we're a dance music company because the drumming and the dance go so closely together that we don't think of one without the other. So even when the physical drums aren't there, the body becomes the drum. So we're always dealing with music.
Ko-Thi Dance Company, which started in 1969, has a youth group, Ko-Thi.
Our Children's Company is a part of our educational outreach, a drum talk program that we do in the schools. One of the groups tonight is the Roosevelt Outreach that is part of our drum talk, and these are kids that are not trained in the wing yet, but they're kids that we touch in a one-week residency, for example, and they learn a piece, so we decided to bring them into the show.
How have you seen your audience change from the time you started to today and its acceptance?
The advantage of being older and being around a long time is that you do see things come back full circle. If you stay vertical and stay alive long enough, things will come back around. In the 60s, there was the I'm Black, I'm Proud. There was like the Black Renaissance, you know, and everybody was really into, you know, learning African rhythms and wearing the dashikis and the afros out to here. And a lot of self-awareness and identification with the continent. And most of our audiences at that time were predominantly African American. And then around the 80s, we started to see a blending of races coming into the classes. In the 90s now, and 2000, it's predominantly Caucasian. So we've gone all the way around. And this is affected by economics, it's affected by time, it's affected by a million different elements that cause this change. But like I said, we're still here, and whatever the change is, we're going to just, go with the flow.
And Ko-Thi Dance Company is harnessing that change through diversity and programs like It Takes a Village. For more information about Ko-Thi's 40th anniversary season, call 414-273-0676 or log on to their website.
On March 7th, the Black Student Union at UW Whitewater will also hold its 40th anniversary celebration. Joining us for a brief discussion about that is Brittany Jackson, the current president. Welcome to Black Nouveau.
Hi, thank you.
Why don't you tell our audience what a Black Student Union does?
The Black Student Union is an organization that students assemble themselves so that they can personally and professionally develop themselves, become politically aware, financially aware of things that are going on. And we are one of the largest student organizations on our campus.
Okay. And tell me now about the 40th anniversary celebration. What's going to happen?
The 40th anniversary is a very marketable event where we've been on campus for 40 years. And so we are here to tell everybody that, hey, we've been here for 40 years. On the 7th, we'll be having the first African-American woman that graduated from UW Whitewater as our keynote speaker. We'll also induct 10 people into our Hall of Fame, into the BSU Hall of Fame, and we'll present that to the campus. And then we'll also announce a scholarship. So we'll be the first organizations that will have a scholarship on our campus.
Well, 40 years is a long time for any student organization. Tell us about some of the things you've done.
In general, we have participated in the National Black Student Union Conference that has started from individuals from UW Whitewater. We've also done a lot of community service. We politically involved ourselves in some of the situations where, they tried to take affirmative action away from Wisconsin schools and things like that. So we've assembled ourselves in Madison to speak against that. So we've done a lot while we've been here.
Okay, and if people want more information about the event on the 7th, where should they call?
They can call 262-472-1129 and speak with Mr. Andre Douglas. He's our advisor.
Thank you very much for joining us on Black Nouveau.
Thank you for having me.
The last married couple, Herbert and Zelmira Fisher, are in the Guinness Book of Records. The Craven, North Carolina couple has been married for over 84 years, which brings us to our discussion of Black Marriage Day and our guest, Bishop LaHarvey Buck. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. Stats today aren't very good for marriage in the Black community. About 48% of the couples in households are married. Is this the start of, or the genesis of Black Marriage Day?
True. At one time, African American people were the highest married race in America, and now we're almost the lowest race of people in America being for marriage. So we're trying to bring up the discussion about marriage and how important it is to families, not only black families, but all families. And when people are married, a lot of things work very well for them. They make more money, they're healthier, their children do well in school, less teen pregnancy, less sexual activity, less juvenile delinquency.
So then that brings us to Black Marriage Day. There's a reason to celebrate, and there's a reason to have something surrounding this issue. What's going to happen on Black Marriage Day, and when is it? Well,
it's always the fourth weekend of March. It was started by a sister out of D.C., Sister Muhammad. It's called, her particular organization is called Marriage Wedding Bliss, and she started Black Marriage Day about 7 years ago. We have been doing it as a Center of Self-Sufficiency for the last 3 years. Before that, me and my wife and some other community people kept it going, and before that, OIC. So we've been doing it for about 6 years.
Okay. What kind of activities can people expect on that day?
Well, this particular year, we're going to put out a lot of material out into the community about marriage. We're asking ministers to talk from their pulpit about the importance of marriage. On other times and in other places, people get married on Black Marriage Day. They have seminars, they do banquets. So around the country, about somewhere between 250 and 300 cities will celebrate Black Marriage Day.
So Black Marriage Day is a program of Vows for Success that comes out of the Center for Self-Sufficiency.
True.
Let's talk about the priorities that are in place for Vows to Success. Share those with us.
Well, one of the things is that we want to educate people who desire to be married how to be married. And we're not forcing anybody into marriage. We're not trying to get people who are in domestic violence relationships to be married. We are talking about people who want to have a healthy relationship, how to be in a healthy relationship. So we have several courses that we teach. We teach one course called Within My Reach, where we teach individuals how to first know themselves. And then we have a course that's called Within Our Reach, where we teach couples how to come together and to be couples.
What kind of response do you get? Have you gotten from the Milwaukee public on attending the previous?
Well, we've had some very good success. Sometimes what we did last year, we did it on a Saturday at the Milwaukee YMCA, and we had it one day where we had youth and adults, and we split them up in groups. We had different things for about relationship for youth, and then we had things for singles and for married couples. We brought in speakers, and we also brought in a performing group to talk about marriage and what it meant to be marriage.
Where will the event be held at this year?
This year they're trying to get that together. We're saying that it's going to be at a hotel near here. We haven't set it in stone as of yet.
Okay.
And we're working for that, and we will get that out on our website when that happens.
And why don't we share in our last minute or so, why don't you share some of the other services quickly and where people can find out more information about the services you offer and Black Marriage Day?
Well, you can call 414-332-0050. And you can go to our website, vowstosucceed.org. And we do a lot of services. We do retreats for couples. We teach in schools, we do relationship class in schools. We also teach within Wisconsin correctional system for men and women. We teach in churches. We do classes in churches with people.
That's wonderful.
And then we do, one of the requirements that I have before I married people is that they go through both courses.
Great.
Which is about 32 hours of education and then 4 hours of one-on-one.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bishop Buck, for joining us. And we'll see you next time, and good luck on your endeavor.
And thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Back when I was a child, before life removed all the innocence.
Well, it's a daddy-daughter dance, and the dance is basically designed to give the dads an opportunity to spend some quality time with their young ladies of their lives.
It's important because a daughter's relationship with her dad usually kind of is a telltale sign of the type of man she'll end up marrying or spending the rest of her life with.
And so on a snowy Saturday in February, Dozens of dads and daughters came together at North Division High School for an evening of dancing, food, games, and bonding.
This is our first official date. You know, I just want to show them some different things and just want to grow up right, you know, with some options. And this is our prerequisite in showing them how they should be treated on the evening out. I think that's important because I just think that we have a lot of not only young ladies but young men that are not given the proper examples and the right requirements that they should be holding their potential mates up to. So this is a beginning process of learning and teaching my daughters how and what to expect. I have two daughters and I have a deceased son who passed at 4 months, and my favorite job is being daddy.
It's real important because, you know, I get to dance with my daughter and I get to meet other fathers that are with their daughters, and you see a lot of different people that are also, they're going through struggles, but at the same time, they're not giving up hope, you know, and that's what counts. I mean, I love my kids a lot, and, you know, and it's just me giving back as a father that I never had a father. It's real special for me just to see my daughter, you know, dance with me for the first time.
This was the 6th annual Daddy-Daughter Dance and the 2nd time the Milwaukee Fatherhood Initiative partnered with Milwaukee Recreation.
I got involved with the Fatherhood Initiative about 2 years ago, and then once I got involved with them, they learned of the Daddy-Daughter Dance. I met with Terrence, and he really wanted to get involved, and so we partnered 2 years ago, and this is our 2nd year partnering, and it's been a wonderful partnership.
This year, the dance featured special guests, young ladies without father figures in their lives from local shelters and group homes. They were escorted by volunteer sheriffs, police officers, and firemen.
I'm here because I feel it's extremely important to come out and support the young ladies. When I was asked to be a part of this, as far as being a chaperone for some of the young ladies without fathers, I grew up since I was 3 years old without a mother. So as a young boy without a mother and not being able to go to those functions and do different things, I understand the importance of it. And to see a young lady who doesn't have a father, you know, they need that other support system. And so I'm here for the night, if nothing else, just to try to provide that support system for them and let them know that there are men of color in this community who care a tremendous deal about them and their well-being. Well, it's extremely important for the community, especially in these times. I mean, we are very fortunate and very blessed and honored to have an African-American president. However, you know, things still have a ways to go before they get better. And the only way they're going to get better is if we stand together as a community and help one another out. And so you have to start with baby steps and letting the young ladies see that, you know, you don't have to just rely on Mr. Obama or President Obama, excuse me. But there are people right here in your community who are very concerned about you and want to help you with your education, your spirituality, and just your growth overall. And that's what we're here for.
I thought it was an excellent way for the League of Martin and a member of the police department to support a very worthwhile event. I know it's important because it gives the young ladies an actual role model that they can connect with, that they would normally see from a distance. They could see them up close, you know, and interact with them and have a personal relationship with them. Well, I think it's important for us in the public service to present proper role models to the children so it could give them some idea of what we do, and maybe they might want to be involved in a career field like us.
I have a son. As a matter of fact, when we had the introduction a couple of days ago, when we got to meet the ladies as a whole, I brought him with me, and he really enjoyed it. He thought it was very nice, and he was very, "Oh, Dad, I'm very proud of you." So that was something in itself. I mean, for 9 years old, for him to understand the importance of me giving my time to other individuals was extremely important. So I'm glad that he understands.
How I'd love to dance with my father again.
Now, to an author who's written a book to encourage the victims of childhood abuse, to stop carrying that shame, pain, and burden. Liddy Collins has more.
Meet Doris Cope, a successful professional from Seattle, Washington, who today celebrates life. That was not always the case. In her book, A Freed Woman's Dance, which she said is a healing tool, she tells the story of her childhood abuse.
If we talk about the economic setting first, we can say that I was down south in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we were growing up in an area called Churchville, and Churchville was founded by the slaves right after Reconstruction, and it was called Churchville because there was church on every corner, and it was pre-civil rights days, and our family had a little business in the community, and they lost the lease on the business when I was 9, and they moved that business into our house.
What kind of business was it?
And it was what we would call a juke joint, or they called it a splo house. And in that house, we sold moonshine liquor, we sold chitlins, we sold fried fish, and it was just a bar. And so my parents moved their customers and their arguments and that cigarette smoke and all of that stuff into our house when I was 9. And when you mix all the things I just named with a little curious little girl, you got a poisonous combination in the form of child abuse, sexual abuse. I was 9 when my mother's customers started molesting me.
How did you get past your childhood pain?
Well, it was a process. It wasn't an event. I ultimately joined the Air Force, and the Air Force saved my life, and that for the first time I had the opportunity to get education. So education was a tool out. I had psychological care or access to it. I just went and talked to old ladies. I had a friend who was 85, and I sat on her couch in addition to having the formal care. So, and then finally, when I got to seminary, just a couple of years ago, I recognized the fact that this type of pain, there is no statute of limitations around that I had a right, even though my hair is silver now, to own that pain and clearly to get through it. And so the writing itself was a healing stream.
And is that how did you heal yourself? Is that what you did?
Yes, in the writing, I was able to go back and revisit the brave little girl who used to be me. I was always ashamed of the fact that I used to be very dirty and unkempt, and no dental care, no care of any type. And so I was able to go back and embrace that little girl for the way that she had dreamed of getting out of that situation, and how life just opened up and that little girl stepped forward and claimed her own right to health and well-being.
How do you and have you encouraged people that they too can survive their pain?
Absolutely. As an example, 3 weeks ago I was speaking before a group of 65 women, and most of them were African American women, although there were several Caucasian women in attendance. And I read 3 or 4 excerpts from the book, and the host opened the floor up so that other women could come forward, and there was such an outpouring. People were crying for themselves and for their grandchildren even. And there was one woman who ended up just vomiting and throwing up all of this pain. And that helped me know that A, I had done the right thing in writing the book, but B, that it is a huge encouragement to people to speak out as the first point of healing.
I was surprised by the way this book was written. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't hostile. How did you come up with that style?
Well, a couple things. I wanted not to be such a historian. I wanted to really give the reader some sense of how life was. And so while these other things were going on, there was a culture, there was a neighborhood, there were parents, there were children. And so I wanted to let the reader hear how that culture evolved and how we all evolved in that culture. And so I wanted to humanize the statistics around abuse. 1 in 4 girls is abused before she's 18, and 1 in 6 boys is abused. And so I wanted to make the story approachable for people who are still suffering. So I decided to take the reader inside our neighborhood.
The title of Freed Women's Dance means what?
It means the determination to claim all that is human, all that is joyful, all that is rich within each one of us. And every woman, every person has this beautiful humanity in them, and sometimes we cover it up with things, material things, and sometimes it's stifled with pain. And so a freed woman's dance is the result of moving into your own inner treasures and celebrating them.
A Freed Woman's Dance is available online at scapefoundation.org. And that wraps up this edition of Black Nouveau. Remember, in the coming week, do something to expand your world. Good night.